You're watching The Healthy Skillet, the channel that creates healthy alternatives to save you money, delete toxins, review recipes, products, and recalls. Thanks for watching. Today we're making the basic yeast bread from the Essential Homegrown Flour book by Sue Becker. If you're not familiar with Sue Becker, check out their website at breadbeckers.com. So we gather our ingredients first, and we're going to add hot water. And know that when you mill flour fresh, it's quite warm when it comes through the mill. We're adding 1.5 cups water to that, 2 teaspoons of salt. We use Redmond's real salt in the Healthy Skillet kitchen. We add 1 pasture raised egg, and that's an optional ingredient. And we're adding 1/3 of a cup of raw honey that I obtained from Azure Standard. Liquid honey works best. Then we're adding 1/3 of a cup organic olive oil. The recipe takes 4 to 4.5 cups of flour. I have milled hard red wheat flour or berries. And counterintuitively, the recipe calls for sprinkling the yeast on top once you've added some of, but not all of the flour. And it's 1 tablespoon of quick rising or instant yeast, which again will be sprinkled over the top. Once that's sprinkled into the bowl, then we'll turn the mixer on to start the kneading process. So we started this channel for the purpose of answering questions. How do I make my kitchen non-toxic? How do I use the freshest ingredients? How can I make things at home by scratch without having to buy processed foods? So hopefully we're accomplishing that. There's no dumb question. And usually when one person has a question, so do many others. Research the topics of the videos first to provide you history of whatever that subject matter might be. So here we're just now done mixing and kneading, and it's doing like a little stretch and fold in the bowl just to gather it all off the edges. And this recipe makes 2 1-pound loaves. And so I'm new to yeast bread making. I've steered clear of it. I've mastered quick breads, cupcakes, cakes. Go ahead and cover it with some plastic film And and because my kitchen runs cooler, I'm going to cover it also with a tea towel. Let it rise for 30 minutes. And this was encouraging to see. And now I'm breaking it into two. I didn't have a dough cutter yet in the Healthy Skillet kitchen. And I had some sprouted spelt flour to use because I had used every bit that I ground in the mill for the recipe. So I didn't do any other kneading to this first loaf, just freeform shaping it into a rustic loaf. Then with the second loaf, I did a bit of hand kneading to it. It always is an experiment. So we're just folding it into itself. It smooths the top and helps shape it into its rustic ball. Then we'll transfer it to parchment paper. We're using an unbleached parchment paper. We'll cover it again and let it rise on the pan after scoring for 30 minutes. Now, I didn't have a razor scorer either at the time we made this recipe. So again, 30 minutes to rise before it goes in the oven. And the scoring's funny. I think it's funny. And we're transferring it to our USA pan that's been in the oven while preheating. It's at a preheated oven of 350 degrees. And we'll bake it for 30 to 40 minutes. And again, this oven is a convection oven when I'm making bread. So it's 350 degrees, which is in Europe, they call it a fan oven. So we're using the fan for more even baking experience. Once it comes out of the oven, then we're going to want to cool it on a wire rack before cutting it. It baked for 25 to 30 minutes. Everyone's oven will be different, so it's always best to consider a range. And look at that. So we're going to put it on the racks and cool it before we cut it. And it has a lovely golden brown bottom. I'd say it's baked perfectly. I think we can call this a huge success. So here's the ingredient list to the Bread Becker's Basic Yeast Bread Recipe. Check out their book. You've been watching The Healthy Skillet, the channel that creates healthy alternatives to save you money, delete toxins, review recipes, products, and recalls. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.